Friends of Islam, this time the Islamic faith is back before you to share Islamic information. I hope it inspires your activities today, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notifications so you don't miss the latest news from the Islamic Faith channel. The Muslim population in Britain is growing. This is inseparable from the good relations between British leaders and Muslim figures and British Muslims in recent decades. Muslims in the UK have increased by 60% in the past 5 years, according to the Office for National Statistics, ONS, UK population census from 2023 to 2024. Although still a minority portion compared to the total population, the Muslim population in particular has experienced a significant increase. By 2023, there has been an increase of 1.2 million residents in 5 years to the total number of Muslims in the UK. The Muslim population in Britain is increasing. However, some of the Muslim population still lives in disadvantaged areas in their respective regions. This increase in the Muslim population, according to Mohammed, is driven by the number of young people born in the region. The number of Muslims in the UK is expected to jump from 2.7 million, 4.9% of the population, in 2023 to 3.9 million, 6.5% of the population. The Muslim population is growing most in urban areas and is still dominated by immigrants who are now in their second or third generation. Meanwhile, for the first time in history, Christians no longer make up 50% of the UK's population, meaning the religion is no longer officially the majority in both regions. Many factors in different communities determine these trends. Different age patterns, fertility rates, mortality rates, and migration. These changes may also be due to differences in how people respond, the report said. He also believes Islam will be a significant player in the religious landscape of Britain in the future. In the 1970s, Muslims were not very visible in Britain. Slowly, the first generations built Islamic infrastructure, such as halal slaughterhouses and mosques and schools. The second generation of British Muslims then began to establish civil society organizations and charities. Today, British Muslims are increasingly confident with many public officials and politicians from the community. In addition, young Muslims are also significantly pursuing higher education, mixing with various ethnicities, and creating a uniquely British Islamic culture such as cuisine, fashion, and popular culture. The cultural output of British Muslims is seen as cool globally and is starting to be noticed. Only the Muslim community in Britain has all the conditions to grow significantly in terms of community, institutions, and faith. Islam is going to be the most vital part of the religious community in this country, and that is a frightening prospect for those who don't know Islam. This can be seen from the support and openness of the British government and leaders when there are Islamic celebrations celebrated by Muslims in Britain. Even now, many Muslims in Britain are taking part in the development of Britain by holding a number of important positions in government. Their actions have also received a positive response from British citizens. Muslims are spread throughout England, but Leicester and Birmingham are the cities with the largest Muslim population. Despite this, Muslims receive good attention from the British government from the city to the center. This can be seen from the increasing ease with which Muslims can build mosques. It was proven during the Eid al-Fitr celebration some time ago, Muslims in England were able to celebrate it happily with the support of the local government. Even football clubs in England have shown their closeness to the Muslim community. Chelsea, for example, last Ramadan, the club nicknamed the Blues held a breaking of the fast together at their proud stadium, Stamford Bridge. And on Eid al-Fitr, football clubs in England also flocked to congratulate Muslims around the world. In fact, the phenomenon of rapid growth and development of Islam is not only happening in England, but also in European countries in general. It is true that in England, there is a flow of growth and development of Islam that is much faster than the growth and development of Islam in other European countries. Children in Britain are converting to Islam in droves. With eyes shining with joy, the 9-year-old British boy wearing a dark parka jacket holds a certificate showing that he has just converted to Islam. The young man had just recited the 2 sentences of the Shahada, a firm Islamic creed that states that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. After reciting the Shahada, Rudy must perform the 5 daily prayers, fast during the month of Ramadan, and more. He must also stop eating pork and worry when he becomes an adult, avoid Western customs, including drinking alcohol or having sex, except with his legal wife. Rudy and his mother are volunteers for the charity Claire. Their conversion was recorded on video. It happened in January 2021. From there, Rudy wanted to learn more about Islam. He even asked his mother's permission to become a Muslim. His mother, Claire Taylor, was moved to tears by her son's decision. She said she would be happy with whatever he decided and would always love and support him. Today, the construction and development of mosques in the UK has become one of the greatest achievements of British Muslims. With over 2,000 mosques in the UK, the number continues to grow as the needs of the growing Muslim population increase. British Muslims also have a very new development project in Birmingham, which is set to become one of the city's new and exciting religious landmarks. With a 6-story mosque, the Islamic Center of Britain development will include a commercial center, an educational center, and plenty of green space as part of the project's eco-friendly initiatives. To revive the forgotten traditions and functions of the mosque, the Islamic Center of Britain hopes to create a holistic environment for the large Muslim population. What is unique about the Islamic Center of Britain is that it will be home to a variety of activities beyond the traditional services that mosques usually offer. The Mosque Education Center will be a thriving environment offering full-time secondary and primary schooling for hundreds of students. In addition, there will be Islamic programs for over 500 students during the evening madrasa classes. There will also be a nursery for children with modern nursery facilities. The mosque will also have a community center that will be developed to bring people together to meet, collaborate, and engage in activities. With recreational activities and an open kitchen, the center aims to revive the sense of community within the mosque. Even as Britain becomes more secular, some religions are thriving. Islam shows very encouraging development in England. It refers to the fact that more and more churches in London are empty. Meanwhile, mosques in London are always packed with worshippers. In the church, only 12 people were seen worshiping. In fact, the church, which was built in the early 18th century, was designed to accommodate 1,130 people. The same view was also seen in St. Mary's Church. In the Christian house of worship, there were only 20 people attending the service. While the two churches were nearly empty, a mosque not far from the two churches was packed with worshippers. The mosque itself is nothing more than a small rented room in the city center and can only accommodate about 100 people. However, on Fridays, the number of worshippers swells to 3 to 4 times the capacity of the room, so that the worshippers spill out onto the street. This fact shows that the current trend is that Islam is a religion of the future. Muslims are also largely young. Half of Muslims in the UK are under 25. It is estimated that in the next 20 years, Muslims will be more active in the country than Christians. In England, there is a figure who is said to be very instrumental in spreading Islamic religious knowledge. He is Musarabs, who later changed his name to Petrus Alponsi. The phenomenon of the very interesting and rapid development of Islam in England, even in other countries in Europe, has long been predicted by George Bernard Shaw, 1856-1950. In his prediction, G.B. Shaw said, "If any religion has the chance of ruling over England, nay Europe within then next 100 years, it can only be Islam. I have always held the religion of Mohammed in high estimation because of its wonderful vitality. It is the only religion which appears to me to possess the assimilating capacity to the changing phase or existence, which can make its appeal to every age." More than 60 years have passed since G.B. Shaw in the 1950s made his predictions about the existence and development of Islam in England and in Europe in general. Underlining Shaw's visionary predictions, in the next 40 or 50 years, Islam as a religion of Rahmatan lil Alameen will shine brighter and brighter in the skies of England and Europe. Islam in the UK is the largest non-Christian religion. It is predominantly made up of immigrants from South Asia, particularly Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India, or descendants of immigrants from that region. There are also other communities from the Middle East, Afghanistan, Malaysia, and Somalia, and small numbers from African countries such as Nigeria, Uganda, and Sierra Leone. The majority of Muslims live in Bradford, Luton, Blackburn, Birmingham, London, and Dewsbury. In addition, Muslim populations can also be found in High Wycombe, Slough, Leicester, Derby, Manchester, Liverpool, and the factory towns of northern England. In general, Muslims in the UK enjoy freedom to practice their religion. Muslim scholar Maulana Syed Ali Raza Rizvi argues that Muslims in the UK are freer to practice their faith. This is when compared to other European countries and not a few Islamic countries. London is more Islamic than many Muslim countries in general. He explained that England is considered more Islamic than other countries because of the freedom to worship and multiculturalism. In England, Islam can be concluded as love and justice. All countries in the world should also implement this. However, the political leadership of Islam throughout the world has failed to encourage this. There are many communities living together in peace and harmony, giving respect to others and loving others, and that is what Islam is. He added that living in the UK would make Islamic values come alive. The right to freedom of religion in the UK is regulated by three constituent legal systems, namely national law, European law, and international law. The European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, guarantees freedom of religion under Article 9. It reads, namely, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change one's religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest one's religion or belief in worship, teaching, practice, and observance. Another article reads, freedom to manifest one's religion or beliefs shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law and are necessary in a democratic society in the interests of public security, the protection of public order, health or morals, or the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. However, and it cannot be denied that in the midst of the onslaught of Islamophobia that has hit most of Europe, the Muslim community has not escaped being the target of those who hate Islam and Muslims. Regarding the entry of Islam into England, a number of parties have different opinions regarding the beginning of the entry of Islam in England. However, most say that the entry of Islam into the country was around the end of the 18th century AD and the beginning of the 19th century AD. They were brought by immigrants from South Asia, such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. These Muslim immigrants are the largest community in England. Their numbers even reached the third largest in Europe after France and Germany. These Muslim immigrants were sailors recruited by the East India Company. After the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, as British colonial expansion expanded, the flow of immigrants to the country increased. They then formed small communities and settlements in port cities such as Cardiff, South Shields near Newcastle, Liverpool, and also in the capital, London. Slowly, they taught Islam to the local population. Meanwhile, the Muslim community of West African origin emerged in Liverpool and grew rapidly since the 19th century. The activities of this Muslim community attracted the attention of British citizens. For example, when a Muslim of noble descent named Abdullah Henry William in 1901 pioneered the construction of a mosque. In fact, previously the mosque in Woking, London was built thanks to the efforts of an elite Muslim group there. The mosque was always full of religious activities and became the center of preaching by famous Quran translators such as Marmaduke Pickthall and Abdullah Yusuf Ali. The mosque was also famous for its close relationship with the Ahmadiyya movement, Lahore branch. A grand plan for the construction of a central mosque in London received the full support of King George IV in 1944. This was a response to the construction of the Grand Mosque in Paris, France, in the 1930s. Not only that, the king also donated a plot of land located in Regent's Park, central London, as a reward for the Egyptian government who had provided land for the construction of the Anglican Cathedral in Cairo. The new mosque is named London's Central Mosque, complete with its Islamic Cultural Center facilities. And until now in the UK, there are 136 mosque buildings. Every year, this number continues to increase. Understandably, the increasing number of places of worship also reflects the increasing number of Muslims in Britain, especially after the policy of reuniting immigrant families that has been in effect since the 1960s. Immigrants from Pakistan and Bangladesh are recorded as the largest Muslim communities. Their number in 1961 was only around 25,000. However, 10 years later, the number had become 170,000. Meanwhile, in the 1981 population census, the number of immigrants from these two countries had reached 360,000, 135,000 of whom were born in England. In 1991, the number increased to around 636,000 people. The largest concentration of Muslim community settlements is generally in large cities. Almost half of British Muslims live in the City of London and its surroundings. The rest choose to settle in the West Midlands, Yorkshire, and the area around the City of Manchester. The distribution pattern of Muslim settlements is not evenly distributed ethnically or geographically. However, in some places, there is a certain concentration of immigrants from one country. The presence of Islam in England can be traced back to the era of Queen Elizabeth I in the 16th century. Since she was crowned queen in 1558, she established diplomatic cooperation, both military and commercial, with Sultan Murad III of the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, and other Islamic countries such as Iran and Morocco. At that time, England was at odds with Spain and needed to form an alliance with the Ottoman Empire that had controlled North Africa, Eastern Europe, and the Indian Ocean. Many native English people had also embraced Islam because they were attracted by the way some Muslims preached in mosques that emphasized charity for humanity across religions, he said. So far, the voice of the Muslim community has also been quite heated by the British government. When there was a discourse to cremate all victims who died from COVID-19 for health and safety reasons, for example, the Muslim and Jewish communities protested it through Parliament so that the bodies of these two communities could be buried. There are two major challenges for Islam in the UK and other European countries in recent times. First, the huge flow of immigrants from conflict countries in the Middle East and Africa. They also color the new flow of Islam differently. Bradford City is a city in the northern part of England. Various ethnicities and cultures can be found in this city. The Muslim population in Bradford reaches a quarter of the city's population. This city that offers ethnic diversity has 44 mosques spread across every corner. The presence of mosques in this city allows Muslim travelers to perform their worship properly and enjoy halal tourism in Bradford. In addition to Bradford, Birmingham is also a Muslim-friendly city. This city can be an alternative for Islamic tourism after Bradford. The percentage of Muslim residents in Birmingham who are in a Muslim minority country is quite high, which is 27% of the total population of the city. This number continues to grow every year. If you visit this city, don't be afraid of having difficulty finding halal food. Birmingham is one of the cities with the most diverse halal food in England. South Asian food is also quite easy to find in this city. Make no mistake, London, the capital of England, is one of the cities with the highest population in the land of Queen Elizabeth. In 2022, there were around 1.28 million Muslims living in London. London has a lot to offer Muslim tourists. Muslim travelers can visit several halal tours in London, including the East London Mosque, Whitehall, Bloomsbury, and Abdullah Quilliam House. Likewise, Cardiff is home to 11,000 Muslims from various countries and ethnic backgrounds. Muslims from all over the world can visit this Muslim-friendly city. Historical sites such as castles, coals, and national museums can be visited in Cardiff. This city also has beautiful scenery, suitable for Muslim travelers who like outdoor activities. Whalley, England, holds a lot of information about Islam. Anyone who enters it will see historical facts about the closeness of Muslims to England. Many Muslims joined the British military in Commonwealth countries, such as India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The British Kingdom and government greatly appreciate and give awards to them. The award is a sign of the development of Muslims in England. Now, Islam is the second largest religion there. The population of British Muslims in 2011 reached 2,186,635 people. This number is 1.55 million more people when compared to the results of the 2001 census. Nearly 95% of Muslims live in the country, now ruled by Queen Elizabeth II, the first daughter of the previous British monarch, King George VI. 3/4 of Muslims live in London, Yorkshire, and Humberside. The 2011 census showed that there were 77,000 Muslims in Scotland, 46,000 in Wales, and 3,800 Muslims in Northern Ireland. Some of them are native British citizens. In 2011, Britain had 100,000 new converts to Islam. 66% of them were women. Islam is the fastest growing official religion in Britain. Its followers are young people from all religious groups. The number of Britons converting to Islam reached a new record of more than 100,000. The Daily Mail reported that white women were the largest converts to Islam. 10 years ago, the number of British converts to Islam was 50,000. The study was published in a report by Faith Matters, a multi-faith organization. The report said that new converts to Islam considered their faith compatible with life in Britain. Converts generally did not consider British citizens hostile to Islam. According to the report, around 5,200 people have converted to Islam in the past year, 1,400 of whom live in London. The converts said that in their view, the negative aspects were alcohol and drinking, lack of morality and sexual permissiveness, and unbridled consumerism. Many of the converts fear that immoral behavior is becoming normalized as society becomes less religious. 9 out of 10 female converts said their religion now led them to dress more conservatively. More than half began wearing a headscarf, and 5% said they had worn a burqa. More than half also said they had struggled after converting to Islam because of negative attitudes from their families. There are many factors that drive Britons to convert to Islam. Most converts say they are attracted by the simplicity of Islam's teachings, the clarity of the concept of God in Islam, and the ethical and moral values upheld by the religion. Some are also attracted after interacting with a friendly and inclusive Muslim community. Statistics show that the number of people converting to Islam in the UK has increased significantly in recent years. It is estimated that thousands of Britons convert to Islam every year. They come from a variety of social backgrounds, including academics, celebrities, and ordinary people. Converts in the UK are supported by a range of Islamic organizations that provide spiritual guidance, religious education, and social support. Many mosques and community centers also have programs specifically for converts, helping them to integrate into the Muslim community. Converts in the UK are not limited to a specific age group, but include people of all ages, from teenagers to the elderly. In addition, the number of women converting to Islam is also quite high, and they are often the main drivers in introducing Islam to their families and communities. Overall, the rise in the number of people converting to Islam in the UK is an important indicator of the development of Islam in the country. It also shows that Islam has a broad appeal and is relevant in the context of modern British society. The rise in the number of converts in the UK highlights some of the wider social and cultural dynamics in society. The process of converting to Islam for many people in the UK is not just about changing their faith, but also about finding a new identity and community. For many converts, embracing Islam is part of a search for a deeper and more meaningful identity. They often find in Islam a strong sense of community, solidarity, and a clear sense of direction in life. However, this journey is not always easy. Some converts face challenges in social acceptance, both from family and from the wider community, who may have stereotypes or prejudices about Islam. The role of social media and the internet in spreading information about Islam cannot be overlooked. Many converts first encountered Islam through online platforms, where they were able to access a variety of learning resources and hear the experiences of others who had converted. Discussion forums and YouTube videos about the spiritual journey to Islam are very popular and serve as a starting point for many who are interested in the religion. In the UK, there are a number of high-profile converts to Islam who play a significant role in promoting Islam and strengthening Muslim communities. They are often vocal spokespeople about their experiences and why they were drawn to Islam. Their presence in the media and at public events helps to change negative perceptions of Islam and shows that it is a religion that can be accepted and practiced by anyone, regardless of ethnic or cultural background. While many converts feel they have found a spiritual home in Islam, they also face challenges such as discrimination and Islamophobia. However, many remain committed to their new faith and work to educate the British public about the true teachings of Islam. Raising awareness of Islam through converts helps to combat stereotypes and misinformation. Overall, the phenomenon of increasing numbers of people converting to Islam in the UK reflects the universal appeal of Islam's teachings, as well as the challenges and opportunities faced by new Muslims in a multicultural society. It is also a sign of the sustainability and growth of the Muslim community in the UK. The development of converts in the UK reflects a complex and diverse dynamic. It is not just about religious change, but also about how Islam interacts and integrates with wider British culture and society. This process brings challenges, but also great opportunities to enrich the diversity of British culture and deepen understanding of Islam. Friends of the Islamic faith who are blessed by Allah, I hope this video is useful and see you in our next video.